Hi everyone, Dr. Afsoon Gazvinian here, Doctor of Pharmacy and Certified Functional Medicine Practitioner. I hope wherever you are, you're keeping safe and you're keeping healthy. Today's session is part 2 of Type 2 Diabetes series. In part 1, we saw that the root cause of Type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance, meaning that we have way too much sugar or glucose in our system that triggers the secretion of too much insulin in our bloodstream, and that insulin is trying to knock on the door of the cells and get this extra sugar inside of the cell, but the cells are not responding to insulin. They are not opening up their channels, and this causes the high blood sugar level to be detected as type 2 diabetes. In this session, I will talk about the sources of glucose, the foods that raise our blood sugar way too much and way too fast, because what we eat is something that we can control. I would also go over the way that our body responds to this high amount of sugar. Where does it go and how is it being stored? Because we want to start understanding how can we empty up this stored energy? How can we start tapping into our stored fat and sugar so that we can help ourselves become sensitive to insulin once again? And this is stepping towards reversing type 2 diabetes from the root cause. To be part of Riva's wellness journey to healing and to receive notification about these life-saving information, like this page, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so that you'll be informed once the new information is released. Keeping a steady level of blood sugar is a very delicate balancing act for the body. Our body can only afford about 1 teaspoon of sugar, which is about 5 grams of sugar at any given time, and anything above it, if it stays high, can be toxic to the brain, to our organs, to our capillary and vascular system, and also to our nervous system. That is why our body tries very hard to push the extra sugar out of the bloodstream and inside of the cells where they can be either used or stored. So in the case of type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, there are 2 fundamental issues that we're dealing with. One is constant stream of foods that raise our blood sugar too fast and too high so that it triggers too much insulin in our body. And also cells that are full of sugar and fat storage already that they are resisting the insulin and they're not uptaking this sugar. So fundamentally, there are 2 questions that we need to ask. 1, what kind of foods should we avoid? And 2, where is this storage? How can we unlock this storage of energy and use it and empty it up and make ourselves sensitive to insulin once again? And when we talk about sugar, we are talking about all fast food and all highly processed food, and these are the products that are unfortunately everywhere around us nowadays and virtually in every packaged food. And these products are made from very low quality grains like corn, soy, or wheat that are processed to a point that there is no more nutrition or no more fiber is remaining in them in order to be more shelf stable and to be more palatable. And on top of it, there is added sugar, color, flavoring, preservatives, and other chemicals. And unfortunately, these foods are consumed on a very large basis every day and by our children on a daily basis. Let's take a closer look at this picture. Products like sodas, snack bars, packaged and frozen foods, juices, fruity yogurts, breads and breakfast cereals, ketchup and sauces, coffee mixes, sport drinks, cakes and desserts and ice cream, chocolate bars, and even high sugar fruits and natural juices can cause high blood sugar spikes in a person with insulin resistance, and it can cause damage. And unfortunately, in our modern society, many people live on these products daily. So what happens when we eat these products? Well, over the years, long before presenting with type 2 diabetes, when we take a very high pure sugar product, like the ones that we just saw, that they don't have any fiber or other nutrients, these foods produce a very high spike in sugar in our bloodstream, and this is way more than the regular allowance of sugar in our body, and the body responds to it because this is toxic to the body by a very high spike of insulin. And that high amount of insulin pushes the sugar to the cells way too fast, and this causes a crash of sugar or causes a very low amount of sugar that the person starts feeling hunger and craving for sugar again, let's say a couple of hours after eating. So this becomes a vicious cycle. And as you can see in this graph, these spikes and crashes can happen many times during the day because of the constant roller coaster of very high and very low blood sugar levels. And some of the signs and symptoms of it are constant cravings for sugar and carbs, low energy, irritability due to glucose imbalances, unexplained bloating in the stomach, weakened immune system, insomnia, weight gain, and premature aging. And if you see these signs and symptoms, you know that the person is becoming insulin resistant. As long as we have this roller coaster of high blood sugar spikes and then crash, it will lead to fat storage. Insulin is a one-way storage hormone, and as long as we have high insulin levels in our bloodstream, we are going to be in a storage mode. We cannot touch our fat storage in our body. Now let's take a look at the storage of glucose in our body. Glucose does not have to be digested or converted by the liver into anything else. It's absorbed into the bloodstream directly through the mucous membrane of the mouth, where it starts digesting from there, then from the stomach and from the gut to meet the energy demands of the body. Its only use is to produce energy. And glucose is stored mainly in the liver in the form of glycogen as a reserve of glucose for other tissues in the body when there is a need. Glycogen is also stored in muscle cells. In the muscle, it is mainly used for energy purposes, and when we exercise, we use the stored glycogen. This excess sugar rises our triglyceride levels, which is a type of blood fat. You have probably seen your triglyceride levels when you have taken your fasting lipid profile. It also stores in fat cells. Sugar can store as fat in fat cells or in fat droplets, and they can also accumulate and get stored up in our liver, and that is what causes what we call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fructose and sugar are major causes of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And once the liver is full, the stored fat starts spilling over around the organs as visceral fat that wraps around the abdominal organs deep inside the body. Compared to the fat that lies just underneath the skin or subcutaneous fat, the visceral kind is more likely to raise the risk of serious medical conditions such as heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, type 2 diabetes, and stroke. Visceral fat is also thought to make more of inflammatory markers in the body's tissues and organs and narrow blood vessels that may contribute to high blood pressure and cause other problems. So how to get around that and reduce the amount of sugar spike and insulin spike? is to minimize and try to, if possible, eliminate altogether fast food and processed and packaged food. And I will discuss in the following sessions how to design a nutritional plan that helps us keep a steady balance of sugar throughout the day. And here is a takeaway golden nugget for you. Whenever you're feeling tired or you're feeling low energy in between meals or during work, instead of reaching for that piece of candy or sweet drink to give you energy, get up from your chair and start releasing some of those stored glycogen in your muscles. You'll be surprised how much newfound energy you will have. Do a few air squats by your chair. Do a few walking squats. Keep a couple of free weights by your chair and just do a few reps. Do a few jumping jacks, whatever you can do. And this will keep you going for a few more hours. You'll be surprised and voila, you're ready to go again. Exercise is considered a cornerstone in both prevent and treatment of type 2 diabetes. Not so much to burn fat, but more so to use up the stored glycogen and improve insulin sensitivity, both in healthy people and in people with type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance. I hope this information helped, and thank you so much for tuning in. Join me in the next few sessions to find out about current medications for type 2 diabetes and why they may not really address the root cause of type 2 diabetes, and learn why is it so critical that you take charge of your health and make some changes every day and improve your insulin sensitivity in order to get back into health. If this information helped and you liked this information, please share them with your friends and family and loved ones and your children, and tune in for the next session. Until next time, stay well.